In this video, I want to discuss the viewports in Maya 2020. A viewport is simply a view into your scene. It's where we do most of our work in Maya. When you navigate in Maya, you are navigating in what's called a viewport. And that's this big window here. Now, we can configure viewports to appear in a lot of different ways. That will help you work in Maya. So let's take a look at that. Now, each viewport that we have has a menu along the top, as well as a row of icons underneath. Now, if I click this button here, you'll see that we have individual viewports. And each viewport has its own set of menus. So each viewport can be configured differently and separately from each other. Now, I'm going to highlight my perspective window and just hit the space bar, and that should bring it up. If not, we can always just hit this button. Now, the viewport menu has a lot of stuff that's duplicated with the icons. So I'm going to start off with the view menu. Now, the first thing we can do is, we actually can select the camera that we're looking through. And this will allow us to manipulate that. We can also look at different types of objects. So if I were to left-click on this polygon cylinder, I can go ahead and frame that selection, and it will move the camera to frame that section exactly. And I can then navigate from there. So let's take a look at how to navigate in Maya. I'm going to hold down Alt and left-click. And if I do that, you can see I can orbit my scene. Now, if I hold down that keyboard key and right-click, I can truck the camera in and out. I can also roll the middle mouse wheel to do the same motion. Now, I'm going to hold down Alt and middle-click, I can pan. And this is a great way just to navigate around your scene and position the camera exactly where you want. So go ahead and practice navigation for a little bit, and we'll move on. Now, in addition to this, we have a lot of camera settings here, which are duplicated in the icons. We also have shading. Now, shading can be used with hotkeys in Maya. That's probably the easiest way to do it. Now, I'm going to start with the numbers 4, 5, 6, and 7. So if we hit the number 4, that puts us into wireframe mode. 5 puts us into a shaded mode without textures. 6 adds textures and materials. And then 7 turns on all the lights so that we can see the lighting in the scene. Now, a lot of this is duplicated here along these icons. So here is the wireframe button. Here is the shaded button. This allows us to turn on or off wireframes. So I'm going to deselect this polygon cylinder here. And you can see that we can turn wireframe on shaded on. And that will help us when we're modeling. This allows us to turn on or off textures. We can turn on all lights here. We also have a couple of other things here, such as screen space ambient occlusion, which gives us a little bit softer shadows. We have motion blur as well as anti-aliasing. Now, in addition to this, we have a number of things such as safe frames that we can use. We can turn the grid on the scene on or off here. And a lot of these are duplicated under camera settings here as well, but I like using these icons because they're a lot quicker. You can also turn on what's called a film gate, which shows us exactly what the camera will see when it renders. We can do what's called resolution gate, which is very similar. And when we turn these on, we can also toggle on or off the mask along the sides. And that basically will give you a more clear view as to what is in and out of frame. We can also turn on what's called the field chart. And so traditional animators would love that because it really gives you a grid over your scene. And then we can also do safe action and safe title for all those people who are designing for video. Now, in addition to this, we can change the renderer that we use to render the scene. By default, we have what's called Viewport 2. But if you have Arnold installed, you can click this on. Now, when you do this for the first time, it will give you this little Arnold menu here. So we have Arnold lights and we have a list of lights here. So the one we're gonna look at today is the physical sky. And all you have to do is press this triangle play button, in which starts what's called an IPR session. And what this does is this will actually render the scene interactively in the Arnold renderer. Now, the speed at which this renders will depend a lot on the speed of your computer, but generally it's pretty good. So this seems not too complex. So as you can see, I can manipulate the scene and then it will go ahead and start to render as I stop navigating. So this is a great way to see how your renders happen in a window with Maya. Now, in addition to this, we can also change what type of panels are showing up in the viewport. So right now, I'm in a perspective viewport, but if I want to, I can change this to say an orthographic viewport, such as a front view, or a side view, and a top view. So hopefully this gives you a good insight into how to configure and use viewports in Maya. We hope you will like it. Let us know your opinion. If you have any questions, then please let us know. Please like, comment and share. We need your support. And guys, please don't forget to subscribe our channel. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day.